Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of Kill James Bond. I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have a guest. We have a person of Nordic experience to talk about our Nordic movie.
Yeah.
It's our friend Ari. Ari, how's it going?
Jättebra. No, it's great. It's great. It's pitch black outside. Serotonin levels plummeting somewhere through the sub-basement, and I'm here to have a great time.
Oh, so you're living in London too?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
like, it's sunset at 5:30 here. I think you might be the one person who has a worse time of the sunset than
If
us.
London becomes a Scandinavian city before Glasgow
3:30 even, my
does,
apologies.
I think the entire nation of Scotland's liberals might go fully Joker mode. We tried I say we for liberals, they tried so hard to make Scotland into a kind of Nordic country +1.
They did, and like
Yeah.
all the Nordic countries were like, "Well, that's
It's
For
like
good
like
reason.
Estonia. It's like, no, you're not in the club,
increase
pal.
welfare state, but also cut taxes, just like Norway." The entire nation of Norway just sort of shaking its head and going,
Just
"Ugh."
kind of embarrassed to hang with us. But so this is a bonus episode, but it's kind of a special bonus episode in that it's sort of Nate, our producer's pick by proxy.
Yeah.
It was a movie that he mentioned having watched, and I went, "Oh, I saw that years ago, and I remember really liking it." And that spiraled into us stealing Abby's bonus slot.
Yes,
So
I've
Abby,
now been
Colonized.
overruled. The Supreme Court of Kill James Bond has handed down a decision saying that my choice to me and my doctor's decision to put a bonus episode of Crocodile
Relegated.
Dundee or some shit has been overruled.
It's not even the Brussels bureaucrats. It's like a bunch of suits in the EEA.
yeah.
Now we have to
Going.
watch Stellan Skarsgard beat a bunch of people up
Yeah.
against a snowplow.
I'm very
Yeah,
sorry,
hell
but
yeah.
the good news is that you do get the first bonus episode of 2025, assuming there is a
Cool.
2025. There is still time that there may not be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is In Order of Disappearance, which, as I say, is a film that I saw ages and ages ago, and it, remember fondly.
Mm.
And I was curious to see if it held up, and on the rewatch, I really fucking didn't like it. So
Oh, interesting.
This is my first watch, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like a thinking man's Taken.
Sort of uninteresting. I'll try not to be too much the guy who's like, "Oh, those subtitles are awful." But the Norwegian title of this film is Kraftidioten, which just means like the big fucking idiot. And I think
it's a better title.
See, that's better. That's much better.
like In Order of Disappearance is a perfectly good title for like a revenge thriller. But I think in terms of some of the things that I like about this film and kind of the observations that it makes quite deftly about Norwegian society, like I think the big idiot is far more telling.
Yes.
This same director remade it in the US as like an American thriller, and the title there was Cold Pursuit.
That was
Which is-
Liam Neeson, right?
Yes, and specifically that was the Liam Neeson movie where in the press tour beforehand he said, "Oh yeah, I was trying to do like racial hate crimes," and got the premiere cancelled.
Yes.
That was the movie that Liam Neeson sabotaged.
I guess you're Liam Neeson. You do like 15 of these kind of movies. You know, you got to think of something to talk about.
I
at the
like
press
to
circuit.
think the number of interviews I could do before admitting to like planning a hate crime would be pretty high on
It's
account
several
of
hundred
never
podcasts.
having planned a hate crime.
I wasn't talking about me. I was just talking about all the horribly racist characters in all the films that I do.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a bit, Your Honor.
Was the Liam Neeson one a comedy? Because this one is kind
Yes.
of comedic, isn't it?
This one is very funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is very funny. I will say that for it.
I
And-
saw the trailer for Cold Pursuit, and I thought maybe I'd watch it as a point of comparison because I don't really know. Again, like it makes some fairly incisive or like at least well observed comments about like stuff in Norway, and I was a bit curious to see how they translate that in like Minnesota or wherever the fuck they put these things.
Mhm.
Yeah. Colorado, it seems.
Oh God.
yeah,
They're
it was
murdered by a
strange.
Denver drug cartel, I'm seeing here. Sorry, I'm just reading this out loud. This isn't fun. He's called Nels, by the way, and this Nels
Great.
Coxman.
See, I guess the thing is, if you're trying to do a thing about like American, like Scandinavian immigrant descendants that keeps some of the same tone and weirdness of this, that's just Fargo, right?
Yes.
And Fargo already exists, notably.
It is, and I mean, it's also like there is this big kind of Scandi drama to US drama gravy train that everyone wants to get on. And like I was thinking about how they remade the bridge on the US-Mexico border.
Yeah.
But I think these things kind of, they vanish almost entirely. You know, it's not Shameless, it's not The Office. And I've started wondering if maybe there's a thing about like wanting to identify with Scandinavian coolness on a surface level, and then you put it in the US and it's actually just, you lose that.
These were definitely the years for it. But so this is the original European film. And I love a European film because, and I said this with the Diabolics, right? At the start, you get a solid 40 seconds of logos of different film funds. This is no exception. Fuck, I miss the EU.
Svenska Filminstitutet.
Norsk Film Institute. Svenska Film Institute. The Dank Film Institute. Nice.
Hell
Looking forward
yeah.
to checking that one out.
They're like the Association for Swedish Noble Houses Skarsgård Dynasty.
If you want to make a film in the EU, you just go, it's got like a snowplow in it. And so aside from the regular EU film fund and your country's film fund and the 3 neighboring countries' film funds, there's also a special EU fund for like legitimizing the use of snowplows that will kick in like $10 million into your movie. And so all they ask is a credit at the front. Special
charitable organization where you can pay £5 a month to feed one of Stellan's many starving kids.
I don't think they're starving. They're working more than I am.
But so we begin with snow plowing in Norway. And for future listeners, listeners in the 2030s, 2040s, a snow plow was a machine that was used to move snow.
Oh, no. They'll know in Britain when the fucking current breaks down.
So snow was like when it gets cold. Right? Okay, so cold is like when air conditioning is on, but too much.
It's sort of like a lack of heat.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And
water
it used
crucially becomes a solid.
It used to be the case that this happened, I would say, a quarter of the year minimum.
Yeah.
Consistently.
The important thing is that when water reaches a temperature below 0 degrees, it becomes a metaphor. Which
True.
this movie like fucking hammers again and again and again.
It's
that the
dismal.
snow
It's cold.
is like the wilderness, and it is like the edge of civilization, and snow plowing is like you're carving a line through the wilderness and you're maintaining civilization with the snowplow. That's what it means. It's going to tell you that a million times.
He says this as much even.
Yeah.
I think, like,
in a speech at the start.
A snowplow is also something that might have been useful in the UK. Every winter when there's like half an inch of sleet, everyone goes insane and all trains stop working, and they're like, how could this happen?
Oh, no, we don't go insane. We're already insane.
1 day of snow, black ice for the next 3 weeks. 1 day of snow, black ice for the next 3 weeks. That's it, baby. Britain.
But so we're in Norway. We're in a small town that can only be reached by snowplow, like a snowplow, like carving out the road every morning. And that snowplow is being driven by the original Skarsgard, Stellan. Before he
Not
had
a Norwegian man.
Yeah.
No, crucially,
This
a
will
Swedish
come up,
man.
but and he drives this snowplow, and also one morning he dresses up quite smart in a shirt and tie, and his wife
I like
helps
how
him.
like uncomfortable he
love
is in
that
the suit.
too. Yeah.
It's a real like, because we know, spoilers ahead of time, that this is a revenge movie. Fundamentally like reactionary thing, but also depends on establishing the blue collarness of it.
Yes.
Like Charles Bronson in Death Wish, right? So it's an eloquent way of doing that, to be like, oh, he's uncomfortable wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah, he's just one top bloke of the year.
Yeah.
This is very much a sort of like town and country film, and I have some notes on that later.
He wins Citizen of the Year, and he gives a little speech and says, well, I'm not very good at speaking, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking. But thank you. The snow is a metaphor in this movie. I find a path through the wilderness, which is represented by snow. And the line between civilization and violent anarchy is very, very thin.
Yeah, he says, I'm just a guy who keeps a strip of civilization open through the wilderness, and then compares himself to a Native American.
But I think interestingly, he also remarks that he's a pathfinder, even if it's only the same path again and again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just like heavily lampshading like the idea of cycles of violence, and everyone's like, man, we just wanted to like give you a certificate.